I'm walking into the gym. I'm not looking forward to this biking, but this cycling class, but I'm gonna do it anyway. Y'all, oh my gosh, oh my Lord. It was me and a bunch, mostly elderly people, and they were kicking my butt. That was an intense class. And I hope there was probably a couple 70-year-olds in there, and they were just going at it. I walked to the parking lot, I'm still out of breath. I mean, I went the whole time. I really worked hard. I was doing everything she was saying to do, so I was able to keep up. But man, afterwards, they were all like, first time, huh? Like, you did good. And in my head, I was like, oh my gosh, I hope I'm like you when I'm in my 70s. Hey, girl. Hey, girl. Last night, I had my mother-in-law's birthday. And as I drove home, I didn't turn on any music or anything. I think that light bulb just went out. I didn't listen to music. I just drove in silence, about a 40-minute drive from their house back home. And then when I got home, I just sat on the couch in silence. And I just spent time with God. I just sat there. And I think there's something to be said about sitting in silence. I feel like we live in such a busy and loud world that sometimes silence is what we need to, first of all, relax, but also just to pray and to get our thoughts straight and get our heart right. It was really helpful to me. I probably was just in silence for about an hour and a half. And usually I maybe get 15 minutes of silence during my quiet time every morning. But this was like a prolonged silence, no scrolling. I might have scrolled once or twice, but I would put it down, go back to silence. And when you do that, you really realize how much you're actually thinking, and you're actually able to work through things in your head. So I think I'm gonna start trying to work in some more silence every day, just to have those few moments, of spending silence with God. And then also just trying to get my thoughts right. Yep, my dog brought poop onto the bed. Sonny, what is that? Hey, what is this? Hey, what is this on the bed? What is this? Hey, no ma'am. No ma'am. She knows she's in trouble. No ma'am. You know better. No, ma'am. That's what she does. She walks away because she knows she's in trouble. I can't believe you brought poop on the bed. That's so gross. One of the things that I think is really important is that you don't have to just make time for silence. You can just find it throughout your day. Whether instead of listening to music or a podcast while you take a shower, you just kind of chill out, or between work calls, between meetings, instead of scrolling on your phone or texting or making a call, take 5 minutes, take a few deep breaths and chill out. I don't think it needs to be something that's set aside necessarily. I think it could help if it is, but I don't think it necessarily needs to be set aside. I think more so, you just need to focus on making better use of the little pockets of time you have through your day, the little margin you have to spend some time in silence, because you'll be surprised, 5 minutes of silence, close your eyes, just breathe. You'll be surprised how much less stress you feel, how much more relaxed you feel. And also, it just helps you to be more joyful and grateful. Think of things you're grateful for during it if you want to, or you can try to figure out whatever the stress and anxiety is that you're feeling. That's what I battle a lot. I battle stress and anxiety, and so why am I feeling this? It's so simple, but also very few people do it in today's world because we're just so busy. I'm almost out of my coffee. I have these, I don't know if you're able to, these Tully's brand. I think they're Costco. Oh, love it. Nice bitter coffee, just like I like it. Gotta go get my second cup, or no, it's be my third cup of coffee today. But I want to get it before my next sales call. Coffee's for closers. You know, last night I was, when I was spending time in silence, one of the reasons is I saw this video, and it was a video of this guy, and it's a cut up clip on Instagram. And the clip is this lady going, "Are men okay?" And then it cuts to him and he goes, "Nope." He's like a construction guy. He goes, "Nope. Every day I'm struggling. Doot doot." And he starts dancing. And like lights are going crazy on the video, that kind of thing. I think that's a real thing for men. Like, I think most of us are struggling, or at least we have days where we're struggling. And there's like a good kind of struggle, and then there's a bad type of struggle. There's a struggle that makes you stronger, and then there's a struggle that discourages you to the point of not feeling like you can make any changes. And I feel like a lot of men are there. They go to work every day, they come home. I think sometimes men are underappreciated. And that was actually part of my sadness last night. I felt like I was almost mourning for times I felt like that, but then also for other men who feel like that all the time. Because everyone's gonna feel underappreciated now and then. That's just part of life. But for men that feel like that all the time, that's heartbreaking. But anyway, so last night when I was spending time in silence, I was just thinking about that. I was praying about it. It's like, Lord, help me to be a good man. Help me to be someone who can set an example. Help me to be someone that can set a standard. We need men to raise their standards, but also I feel like a lot of us are so discouraged that it's hard to do it. So if you've been feeling discouraged and you're like, I'm a man, but I want to lead, but I feel like I can't, I want to encourage you that you can. And you just have to start where you're at. You don't have to be perfect. My arm's getting really tired. Let me see if I can raise this. There we go. I don't know, it just really makes me sad. Like, it really burdens my heart. Because I know what it's like to feel like you're not measuring up. But also I feel like I've gotten to a place where like I feel like I'm getting healthier in my heart. I'm getting healthier in the way I think about myself and the way I see myself. But I feel like a lot of men, like our self-images are just so beaten down that it's hard to ever break out of that kind of lull. I go to work, I come home, I eat, usually fast food because I'm so tired from work and beaten down by life. I come home and I watch a football game, or I watch a basketball game, or I watch something on Netflix, or I play a video game just to feel something, just to escape for a little bit. And then I go to bed and I repeat the process, praying for Friday and then crying Monday. Like, I think that is something that men are facing. And I don't believe it's God's will for us to constantly be feeling like that, but yet we do. And I don't think it's something that he wants us to feel guilty for either. I just think it's something that has to change. And I think it only can start by, like, you can't control what other people are going to do in your life. You can't control if other people are going to appreciate you. You can't control if people are going to make you feel wanted and loved, but you can control what you do. You can control, like, changing who you are. And what you'll find is people will change the way they treat you. And that's one of the sad things too, is I think a lot of times men feel like love towards them is conditional, because if they don't produce, they're not going to be loved anymore. And so it's an insecure love. And I think that's one of the reasons, like, my walk with God has been so important to me, because his love is unconditional. Like, he loves me because he is love. And I think that was something that was healing to me, because I'm someone who's an achiever, and I think a lot of that's driven by, like, I feel like I have to achieve in order to be worthy of love, even if that's not true. That's what I feel a lot of times. But when I spend time in silence, and this is kind of back to the silence things, like if I can spend time in silence, then for just a moment, when I'm sitting with God, I feel loved regardless of what I performed or achieved or did yesterday, or regardless of the thing I messed up on yesterday. I feel like I'm loved right now. And I think that was one of the most healing things to me about spending time in silence with God is I found out that He loves me for who He created me to be, not what He created me to do. I guess there's kind of been a theme with this video, but take some time to be in silence. And if being in silence makes you uncomfortable, it's probably evidence that you need to do it. So take 5 minutes, take some deep breaths, just sit in silence. Go for a walk without your phone. Just like be in the quiet and see if whatever's going on, if you're facing something, if you're stressed, if you're anxious, I think you'd be surprised how much that will help. But tonight I'm going to hang out with some friends and family to do some Christmas stuff, so that's going to be fun. But I'll see you tomorrow.